What's up, real ones? It's your host, Rueben. I don't dodge the tough questions, and I'm never afraid to speak the truth. If you're new here, welcome. We celebrate stories, unpack the hard stuff, and talk about the things that actually shape us. So take a breath and lean in. This is Getting Real. Getting Real. Getting Real. Welcome back to Getting Real. I'm so excited. As you know, I am your host. That's why it's called Getting Real with Rueben. So today we're going to talk about a couple things that I'm scared of. And it's not so much scared. It's more of my pet peeves, phobias, if you will. Fun fact, my husband is scared of, I don't even know what it's called. So if you want to Google this, he has a fear of like holes, like a bunch of holes that are put together. I can't remember what it's called, but my phobia and my pet peeve is crunching. And so I call it a phobia because I despise crunching. If I'm at a movie theater and I hear people crunching ice, I will completely remove myself from the movie. I'm not paying attention anymore. What else? If I'm at home and my husband is crunching, if you know, you know, I will lose it. I'll kind of glance at him. So I know this is a weird way to start this episode, but I felt like, okay, well, I'm not really afraid of a lot of things. And the guest today, we're going to talk a lot about horror and fear. But I am afraid of crunching, and I think that's just strange. So if you have any phobias, I'd love to hear them in the comments of this video, or if you're listening on all the platforms, I'd love to hear your feedback on that, because yeah, I don't find myself afraid of like sharks or snakes, or like I'm not afraid of ghosts because I've never seen one, and I got to see it to believe it, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, so now you know a little bit about what fears are instilled with me, and so it is time to hear from the sponsor of today's episode.
This episode of Getting Real with Rueben is sponsored by Eric Nunez over at New American Funding. He is amazing when it comes to the VA loan. He is actually the home loan guru. So if you need help and you need someone who is going to be personable and know his stuff, then Eric Nunez is your guy. Shout out to Eric Nunez over at New American Funding.
All right. So now that we got all the housekeeping out of the way, I am so excited to be introducing this next guest. I've known him for years, on and off. We weren't as close as we are now, but we've known of each other for quite some time, and we'll probably dig into that a little bit later. But he is someone that I look to as far as reviews when it comes to horror films, anything gory, anything in that genre. He is the first person I go to when it comes to knowing what is happening in the horror world. He's a San Antonio fanatic, and my favorite part about him is that he is spoiler free. And so we're going to dig into all things horror. So I'm excited to welcome Mark Ramos, also known as Mark Loves Horror. So welcome. You know what? I'm sorry. I said Mark Ramos. Mark Ramos Villarreal.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I know my guest. So, okay. So first off, welcome. I'm happy that you came. I'm excited that you're here. Are you scared?
I'm not scared. I'm excited.
Okay, good.
When I got the call, I was like, wait, me? Little old Mark Loves Horror? But yes, I'm excited
Wait,
to be
speaking
here.
of Mark Loves Horror, okay, so, and I know the answer to this, but I want everyone watching or listening to understand, how many platforms are you on? You're on all platforms? Do you focus on one or the other?
So I started on Instagram, and then I saw that, TikTok is like booming. So I got on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and Facebook.
Okay.
But Facebook is like my last resort. Mainly it's all Instagram.
Okay.
I'm trying to do more TikToks, but Instagram's more my vibe.
And what, I guess, the idea behind Mark Loves Horror, I kind of know a little bit. I don't know at all. Based on the research that I've seen and heard and kind of watched your journey, what, for those horror fanatics, which I'm sure they are listening and watching, all your fans and a lot of people that you've done collabs with, which we'll talk about as well in a second. But what would you say was the catalyst to Mark Loves Horror? Like, why did you start it?
I guess it's a tricky question, because one time I used to post like horror stuff always on my personal account, like all the time. And one time I guess it was a mutual, he had messaged me and he's like, you should really start your own like Insta horror account. And I was like, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, like I'm so invested in all your reviews and your thoughts on horror. And I was like, okay. So just one person having like faith in me and telling me like, do it.
Wow.
I just did it. And I mean, here I am. It's honestly just been such a like life-changing thing for me, because like horror is literally like my life.
Yeah.
Like it's something that gets me out of like the dump when I'm depressed, and
which is also crazy, like in the best way possible. Like
yes,
it's not normal in the best way possible. Like, you know what I
yes,
mean? Like,
yeah,
but I'm starting to find out through talking to you off camera,
hmm,
there's like a huge community of y'all. And I say y'all,
yes.
meaning like the horror lovers of the world.
Yes. And it's huge. Like the horror community is so like I love it so much because it's like a bunch of like we call ourselves like the weirdos
Yeah.
because like who actually like wakes up and wants to eat breakfast and watch Scream,
Right.
you know, and watch Texas Chainsaw and
Yeah.
see people like die in
Yeah.
horror films. It's the weirdos, but they have such a big heart. Like
Really?
it is I met some really great people and all over the world.
Wow.
UK, New York, Connecticut, like, and we like communicate. Canada, we communicate like
Wow.
every day. It's crazy.
And so going back to what you said, like as far as the weirdos or
Hmm.
like what it's, I don't even think that it's weird. I mean, I guess it's different, but like, what would you say is the what draws you to horror? Like, you know what I mean? What is it that what tickles your pickle, if you will? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, oh, it's such. There's so many answers to what tickles my pickle in horror. Jesus. I don't know. I guess it's just because I love to be scared.
Okay. So that's where it resonates from. Is
Yes.
that fear, that like anxiousness, right? You feed
Yes.
off of that.
So when I first started horror, like getting into horror, I loved being scared. Unfortunately, now I don't get scared anymore. Like I don't jump, nothing.
Could
Like
never be me.
I mean, I'll like, oh my God, you know, but like
Yeah.
it's not like it happens like when I first got into it. I love to, so yeah, I love to be scared. I love a good like it's just so entertaining to me. Like
Yeah.
I love seeing a good chase scene and then ended with like
Gore.
gore.
Yeah.
I love a good scream queen. I don't know. It's just
Something, it invokes something in you. Okay,
yes.
so now I'm gonna veer off topic a little bit. Do you enjoy watching other people? Like, do you, like, for instance, would you love to be, I think I saw when you made your family watch, was it Terrifier 3? Or
No,
what did you make them watch and you
oh my
filmed it?
God, what was it called?
The most outlandish, I didn't
Oh,
even watch it.
August Underground.
Okay, and it's like, I have not seen it, so if you're watching, spoiler alert, what is it about?
So August Underground is like it's basically these two guys that record them torturing people.
Okay.
But it's not it's gonna sound so
Is it like a
bad.
POV type of situation?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's like a found footage. And
Oh.
they basically torture people. They basically like this is gonna sound so bad, but it's pure entertainment.
It's okay.
It's basically like they're sexually assaulting
Yeah.
people. They're like cutting off their legs and making them eat their own like
Limbs, everything.
limbs. Like they're people are like shitting on themselves and they're making them eat it. Like
It's the most outlandish thing you could think of.
yes. And it's crazy because one of my horror friends, he actually was like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you this movie because I couldn't find it anywhere." So he literally UPS'd it to me.
I was just gonna ask you, what do you mean send it?
He UPS'd it to me in a care package.
Oh, y'all are that community.
Yes,
Like y'all
we're
are
that
really looking out for
community.
each other.
Yes. So he sent some stickers, care package, everything. And I hosted movie night at my mom's house and
I saw.
the reactions were I expected it.
Yeah.
But there's 3 films in the franchise and I will never get to 2 and 3. Like
Really, it's that bad.
it's
Coming from
disgusting.
you.
Yeah, I only watch these films because I want to say I did it.
Right.
Unfortunately, I had to watch it twice because I wanted to be able to record their reactions. So I watched it by myself privately. And what they don't know is I didn't finish it. So
And you made them
I
finish
made them
it.
watch the whole
Of course you
thing.
did.
I mean, it's a lot. And it was just so like ill.
Yeah. Like, so my thought behind, first off, I will choose a horror movie over a romantic comedy, over a comedy. I would choose a scary movie all day, any day. Not everyone in my family can say that.
Yeah.
I also don't, and that leads me to my next question. Do you have a favorite type of horror? Because for me, I don't. I am more scared, if I will say, of real life things.
Okay.
Like, for instance, I would be more scared, even though it is it is fake. I would be more scared to go watch a Scream movie than I would be to go watch a Conjuring film.
Okay.
Only because in my eyes, The Conjuring, not that it's not real. Don't come for me, all the religious peeps in the world. But like, for me, it's like I've never heard on the news someone dying of an exorcist. I have heard on the news people getting murdered by a serial killer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's scarier to me.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another weird thing that people are like, what? So I've always heard, like, if you're scared, it's because you believe in it. I don't believe in ghosts.
Same.
I don't believe in exorcisms.
Yeah.
I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
I'm not. And if I had to choose a favorite type, like subgenre, I mean, growing up, I loved slashers.
Okay.
I did Halloween, Urban Legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
I love it all. But if I'm talking one that just is like, oh, I love it, it's gonna be a religious horror.
Okay.
I love a good exorcism, and it's weird because I don't know what I believe in myself as religion.
Like religiously.
Yes, religiously. I don't believe in God. And people are like, well, no wonder you like horror
you believe
movies.
in the devil.
Exactly.
It's like, no, that's not what you mean. Yeah, I get it.
And for me, it's like growing up, I was so forced to like go to church.
Yeah, and be in a lane.
Yes, yeah. And now as an adult, like, of course I believe there's a higher power.
Absolutely.
And when that day comes,
you'll find out.
I'll find out. And, you know, if I'm not welcome to where that is, that's on me, and I'll figure that out. But whenever I watch a good religious horror film, it makes me think, and it makes me like, okay, well,
so you're saying more, it almost brings you closer to the idea of a God or a higher power, because it opens up that avenue of like, wait a second, if that is real, both can be true or whatever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Wow, that's a good perspective. I never thought of that.
Yeah. And there's so many religious horror films where you're just like, whoa, like that could happen. Or like, you know, it teaches you a lesson.
Yeah.
And I mean,
or history.
Yes. And I love to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
And so like I said, when that day comes, but I love a good religious horror film.
That is a good, I literally have never thought of it like that. Like usually and which would be interesting to hear. I mean, I'm sure there's a group of people that are against religious horror films, right? Because it just, for whatever reason. But I've never thought about that. That's mind-blowing to me. Okay, so the next thing I have to say then is this is a question I'm dying to ask. What is your utmost, I know you said you don't get scared anymore, but what is the utmost scariest film you've ever seen that still to this day you're like, to be honest, scares the shit out of me? Okay. What movie is it? Or what series, if you will?
Okay, so like the most scariest I've ever been, and it still scares me to this day. It's gonna sound so basic, but it's The Conjuring 2.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm glad you say that. Is that okay? So again, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, you've been living under a damn rock. But is that the one where like at one point there's someone up on like she's like crouched up on top of like the dresser thing? Or
so
is
that's
that the first
one?
That one was pretty scary.
Yes, that one was terrifying. The second one is where they go to England, and it's
is that the Elvis one? Where they play Elvis song?
Yes.
That song now, when I hear it, turn it off.
Really?
That song does remind me of that movie.
That scene made me cry. Like, when I love a good horror movie that makes me cry, that one did. And just like, you know, the whole relationship between the Warrens, I loved it. But yeah, it scared the shit out of me. Story time. There was one time where my husband went out with his friends, and I was like, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to watch The Conjuring.
Ew.
I'm going to get snacks.
Ew.
So I literally watched it by myself. I had to call him, and I was like, I need you to come home because I'm so scared. I can't walk to the room.
Wait, and you had already seen it, or this is your first time?
I had already seen it.
Oh, hell no.
This was my second time watching it, and I watched it. I turned it off like halfway through because for some reason it just scares the shit out of me. I don't know why.
And what about Annabelle? Because that's in the same avenue, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. I hate the first Annabelle film.
Oh, okay.
I hate it. And honestly, the Annabelle franchise, like, because there's 3 of them. The second one's the best, which is Annabelle Creation.
I don't think I've seen it. I think I've only seen the first one, if I'm being honest.
Creation talks about how she was like created.
Started,
yes. Yeah. It's the best one. It's the scariest one. But yeah,
Are you okay? So now we're gonna veer away from movies. Well, actually, before we do that, let's talk a little bit more about Mark Loves Horror too, because I think that it's important for people to understand what your platform is.
Mm-hmm.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't just review, like which is one of my favorite parts, because I will watch if we want to watch a scary movie. I don't think you know this. We will literally in our household, which obviously my husband David, but Celso's usually with us. We'll all be like, go to Mark Loves Horror, and we'll look and see what movies you're saying.
I love that.
So obviously and I would say, I don't want to say obviously, but Mark does review, and he does. I feel like you do a great job at like teetering the line of the spoilers, because you don't really release anything from it, but you give us a good idea with how many knives you rate it, right?
Yes.
That's what Mark uses, knives to rate how many knives, and you do it out of 4, right?
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Okay.
Yes.
So out of 5, I rarely see 5 then. I've only seen you do 3 or 4. I think there's only been a couple. But outside of that, I know that you've collaborated with other horror, what would you call yourselves? Like creators?
Yeah,
connoisseurs,
horror content creators.
So, okay, talk to me about how that even comes to fruition. Like, did you start Mark Loves Horror and then you became friends with these people? It just kind of innately happened. They reached out to you. Have y'all ever met up? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so with the way like the horror content creating works is, when I first started, I didn't have a following. Like, there was literally like my family and a couple of friends. But then there are other content creators that do like similar reviews or content. Like for me, I love reviewing the films, but then I also will do like interaction content that pulls other horror fans to interact with me.
Yeah.
So I'll like drop a question, or for example, you can only keep one. So I'll put 4 choices, and in the comments I want you to only pick one, and I make it as difficult as possible.
You make it fucking hard.
Yes. And I love putting that in people's minds and like their thoughts, because let's be for real, if there was only one choice, what would you choose? And I want to know.
Yeah.
And it's
which
crazy.
is diabolical, because if I have to choose between the Texas chain, like Leatherface, the Ghostface, Freddy Krueger, and Annabelle, I'm committing suicide. Like I don't know what I'm doing, because I am terrified of them all. You know what I mean? Maybe I would pick Ghostface, I guess, because I could outrun him, I guess. I don't know.
And Ghostface can die. I mean easily. I mean,
in that one, he always pretends to die.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You always have to kill him a second time. But yeah, whenever the times that the people that I've met through horror on Instagram, it's crazy, because we'll just follow each other, and then we'll just message, interact, and then next thing you know, we're like doing content together.
That's so cool. It's crazy to me, because I'm if you follow me, the only thing I'm that passionate about is Kelly Clarkson. And like, even then we have a community, but it's not like that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't have a content creator of Kelly Clarkson stuff. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. So, i.e., this is how I came up with the podcast. But okay, so let's talk about villains, right? Because there's a difference between horror. I mean, I don't know. That's a debatable question. There's a difference between, in my head, horror and villains, right? Because you can have Joker, right, who is a known villain.
Yes.
And then you could have Ghostface, right? So I guess, is there a villain, or it doesn't, even though this is a horror-based episode, is there a horror character, murderer, whatever, villain that you secretly like root for? That is your bitch? You know what I mean?
Yeah. God, these questions are so hard.
But it's a valid question, right? Or like, I would say, who do you gravitate to? Do you have I'm sure you have I know you have a whole room in your house.
Yes.
Is there someone that's like more frequently on display?
Yes. So definitely there is one, Leatherface.
Okay.
And that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. It's my favorite film, 2003, obviously. I have Leatherface tattooed on my leg.
I know that.
And the reason why, I think it's because at the end of the day, like, if you look at the film, it's all about family.
Okay.
In the 2003 film, the Hewitt family, they're just a family together of outcasts. And for me, I'm all about family.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, yeah, they're killing people, but they're doing it as a family.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah. And for
You're unhinged.
I know. I'm really crazy. And it's funny because people are like, why did you get that Leatherface tattoo? I'm like, because it resembles family. Like, I don't give a shit.
And love.
And love. Like, I'm going to kill for my family, but like.
Correct me if I'm wrong then. Am I tripping in saying that they did a remake and it was like, am I tripping in and there's like a school bus and they're like in a town? It almost looks like a Hollywood set. the little town?
It was the Netflix version, and I'm very
You
upset.
hated it?
I'm very
I
upset.
thought it was good. I'm
No.
obviously not a horror reviewer.
It was horrible.
Okay. Like my favorite scary movies, I mean, I don't even know that I would say they're my favorite, but like Paranormal Activity, only because nostalgia.
Okay, yeah.
Like when that movie came out, y'all, and if you lived with me in college, you know, we were, fun fact, story time, you're going to love this. We went to go see the premiere.
The first one.
The first one.
Okay.
We sat in the hallways of the movie theater, like back when people went to the theaters.
I miss
right?
that.
I know. Oh my God. It just, thinking about it stresses me out. So we went home. I lived in Austin in student housing, right, in an apartment. And it was old school, like a 4-unit, right? So it's 4-bedroom, 4-bath. So we're on separate corners. I'm not making this up, y'all. I don't believe in ghosts. However, we got back to our apartment and we all went to sleep.
Oh my gosh.
In the middle of the night, the fire alarm in our, like, was screeching just in our unit. Someone was banging on the door.
Oh no.
We're all in our rooms yelling from our door, like, you come out. No, I'm not, freaking out.
Yeah.
And so to this day, that is the scariest movie because of what happened following that movie.
Experience.
And I was convinced that it was a real movie. Then unbeknownst to me, we find out later that obviously it was not.
It's fake.
It's fucking fake. And I'm pissed about it. But anyway, so, okay. So yours is Leatherface for family reasons. Okay. But yeah,
Yes.
I would say too, okay, on that note, are you more of a gory person or are you more of like a storyline or do you like, I know you said slasher, but like for instance, I don't think Scream is very gory.
Yeah.
I guess more recently it's gotten gory, but
it's funny because like as of right now, body horror is like my vibe. And have you seen The Substance?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
Oh, I have not seen it, but I know
with Demi
about it.
Moore.
Yeah.
So I can do gore, but body horror is just like it's when they like fuck with the body.
Okay,
and,
okay,
like
okay.
for example, she like is injecting herself with
Okay.
like this the substance obviously
Yeah.
to become younger and
Yeah.
stay younger.
Yeah.
And it's just so like I just love watching a good body horror and your body's just like oh my
Cringing.
god,
Yeah.
ew, like. And I guess it teeters with gore, but at the end of the day, gore just really grosses me the fuck out.
Okay. Like Terrifier?
Terrifier. I feel like there's no real plot behind Terrifier. It's just to
Fuck
get
shit up and blood everywhere.
It's just to get the audience a reaction, and it definitely gets a reaction on me. I'm literally sitting there behind the screen like, what the am I watching? It's fucking
okay, so
gross.
you do react.
Yeah.
In my head, what I envision when you're watching a scary movie is you're just like,
oh no,
you know what I mean?
There are some films where I'm just like, that's it. Like I go in, I'm like expecting so much. I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Oh, okay.
But like, as for a jump scare, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, like how I used to.
Oh, okay.
But if it's fucking disgusting, you'll know it's disgusting.
Okay.
And I hate to reveal this, but I'm one of those people that talk to the screen. Like,
oh, okay.
So like, I'll be in a movie theater, packed. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I paid $15 to be there. I'm gonna talk.
You're like, run,
literally. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are you doing? Or I'm just like, oh God, why are they doing this? I will talk to Brenda from Scary Movie.
I was literally just
I'm Brenda.
I couldn't remember her name, but I was thinking she's like, yeah, Cindy, the TV's leaking, like that girl. Yeah.
Yes, like and I'm not ashamed of it. That's just my reaction.
Interesting. Yes. I get so much shit in my household because I am a reactor. I don't speak to the screen as much. I scream and jump. And like, if we go to see a scary movie, my husband's like, I'm not sitting next to you. Like, we will get tickets away from each other or we need to bring someone so they sit in the middle because he doesn't want to sit next to me.
I do that to my mom. My mom is constantly like, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm like, Dora, please. I sit my husband. Mom. Yes, shout out mom. I sit my husband Joey in between us because I can't. I'm like, only I can talk to the theater. Oh, you can't. Okay. Like, girl.
You're like, do you know who I am?
Yeah, keep it cute, keep it mute. I have to do a review. Like, don't.
I have to. I'm only being vocal so that I can remember this moment and jot it down.
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel? I hope I don't know this answer because I feel like I might know the answer. But what is a horror film that you feel is underrated? Is it? Okay, good. I don't. I was hoping that we weren't gonna say Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I feel like that one's not underrated.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that are underrated. It's a hard question. That is so hard. There's this movie that's underrated that it doesn't get talked about enough, and it's called Turistas.
Okay.
And it's about a group of friends that I want to say they go to like Rio, and basically, they're drugged one day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because the natives are stealing them to take their organs,
Oh shit.
and so they're taking the tourists, and one day they get caught, and all hell breaks loose. I don't want to
Yeah,
spoil it too
don't spoil
much.
it. I kind of want to watch it. I think is
It's
it on Amazon? I mean, on Netflix?
I think it's on Stars or
Oh, okay.
Showtime.
I have a Fire Stick. Don't come for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's on there.
And it's so good. I love it. Growing up, it's funny because growing up, there were so many films that like my parents would watch with
Right,
us,
right.
and that's one of them that I would watch as like younger. And every time someone's like, "Give me a summer movie," because it's the perfect summer vibe.
Really?
Turistas, and they're like,
How
"I've never
old is
seen
it?
it." I want to say like 2006,
Oh
2007.
wow. Okay. I don't
Yeah,
know why I know I've heard of it. I just didn't realize it was that old.
it's so good.
Wow. Okay. So we'll come back to horror in a little bit. I
Mhm.
just feel like I kind of wanted people to know who you are at your core. And now that we've kind of gotten people intrigued, I kind of want to know, tell me about Mark. Like, obviously, I know you're married. I
Mhm.
know that you love horror. You have a twin brother.
I do.
I know his whole family. Your family is very close. But I don't, and I would assume that your following doesn't truly know who Mark is.
Yes.
Like, I mean, we know, but we don't know. So I kind of want to dig into that. So talk to me about what got you to where you are now, because I feel like and in conversations with you've always been
Mhm.
comfortable with who you are,
Mhm.
right? Like you've
Mhm.
always been like, take it or leave it, fuck you, I'm out, right? If you don't like it,
Always.
move on.
Always.
But what would you say kind of brought you to that? Is it your upbringing? Is it your mom? Is it your dad? Is it something that your grandparents instilled in you? Like
Okay.
what makes Mark who Mark is?
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because like that's one thing I don't mix is like my horror life with my personal
Yeah.
life because I want to make sure people know that you know two different
Right.
things. Um, growing up, I had a twin, obvious. Well, my twin brother. I had a twin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still my twin.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, ugh. But yeah, growing up, everyone always knew like he was gay,
Uh-huh, yeah.
and me, well, I didn't come out till a senior after my senior year.
Yeah.
So it took me a while. But
But were you, I'm sorry to interrupt, but were you always this Mark? Or was it a more, let's call it straighter version?
yeah,
Okay.
definitely a straighter version.
Okay.
I played sports, football, basketball,
Come on, Bush.
Yes, Butch
Yes.
Queen. And I always hid behind like, I loved wrestling. I was
Yeah.
a big wrestling fan. I just did so much of the typical boy things. And of course, there's my brother, my twin, watching America's Next Top Model.
Right. Cheerleader, all the
Yes,
things.
he'd be like, "Hey, let's play wrestling video games, but let's be the girls." I'm like, "Okay, sure, girl."
But deep down, is that what you were like, fuck yeah, like, yeah, I want to be the
I
girl?
enjoyed it. I
Okay,
did.
okay.
Of course, I feel like the whole like "fuck you" attitude, like I'm gonna do me, I'm gonna be me, 100%. I had to always defend my brother.
Okay.
My brother never could defend himself,
Okay.
so I was always there, and I always not only had to defend him but myself because my twin's gay. So they were like, "Oh, well, you're gay too."
Right.
They both act like girls. And I've always had a more feminine.
Yeah, just aura or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it just became from that. And my dad was always like, "Don't let anyone pick on you."
Yeah.
My mom was like, defend yourself, do what you got to do." And so not only did I feel the responsibility to have to defend him, but it was to defend us.
Yeah.
And
Because
so
you were one, you're a unit.
exactly. And that's where that came from. Unfortunately now it's gotten like worse to where I feel like now I've grown to have that like I really don't give a shit what people think.
Yeah.
And especially with like people that I meet for the first time, like my brother is obviously the more bubbly and more friendly. He gets a lot of like he has a lot friends, more friends than I do.
He's just a very loving, touchy-feely,
Yes.
butterflies and rainbows person.
Yes.
And you are the opposite.
And
in a sense, I wouldn't say
yeah. And it's funny because every time he brings somebody around, like one of his new friends, I I tell them straight up, I'm not gonna walk on eggshells. If they can't accept me for who I am in
Yeah.
my mouth, I cuss. I really don't give a shit. I talk about inappropriate stuff because I'm just comfortable like that.
Yeah.
If they can't handle me like busting their balls,
Yeah.
then
Don't come
don't bring them
around.
around.
Yeah.
And it's gotten worse to where like I literally have the same circle because there's a lot of people that
They can't handle
they
it.
can't handle it, and that's not my fault.
Do
It's
you think that welcome to Dr. Phil. Do you feel, because I've been going to therapy lately and like it's things that I catch myself doing too. Do you feel like it was almost like, and I don't want to say who you are is fake, but
Mhm.
like, do you almost feel like, well, this is my persona. This is what people expect of me now. Or is it a little bit of both? Is it like, because I'm
Yeah.
sure there are times when you're like, oh, I'm feeling like, I'm not okay. Let's address this. Mark is not an asshole. Like you're not walking around like
No.
obviously, but you are. It's in a comedic way, right?
Yes.
And you, in my opinion, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that you mean anything you're saying because it's mostly out of love and fun and comedic
Yes.
relief and all the things, right? But do you feel like, and I'm saying this as a gay man, part of that is a defense mechanism
Mhm.
from the times growing up when you had to defend Michael. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I get that, and it just kind of bled into two. I
Mhm.
can identify with that on the other spectrum of like your mom and I. Well, we can talk about this on camera, but your mom and I were talking about this the other day, and she's like, I learned a lot about you. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you're not as social as David.
She told me that.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, yeah, I am, but I'm also always on.
Yes.
I've created this persona. It's still who I am. It's a little bit elevated version, but I'm bringing that back to you because
Mhm.
I almost feel like it's the same way and it's become who we are.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm like, okay, like I just want to kind of be me. I'm not mad. I'm not
Yes.
being funny. I'm not being anything. I'm just being Mark. You
There's
know what I
and
mean?
some days you have to turn it off because and not necessarily turn it off, but you just want to.
Just pull back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Um, I feel like some people are like, "Oh, well, here comes Mark with like his slick remarks and his comebacks," but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just always been like me to do that. Um,
But that's how you show your love, I will say.
yes, because I'm like the biggest teddy bear. Like if somebody comes to me and confides in me and needs advice, or you know, I I'm an emotional
Yeah,
person.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is one thing a lot of people don't expect. Like I'm emotional, and there's one day where I can just be like, "Oh, like, shut the fuck up," like, but
Yeah,
then there's one day I'm like, "Are you okay?
yeah,
Like, what do you need from me?"
yeah,
But to bring it back, I mean, I feel like people just get it
yeah.
confused.
I agree. Now, okay, so that kind of gives people a background, especially because, like you said, you don't really talk about and bleed those two lives together.
Mhm.
Talk to me about, I'd say, how do you balance both your I call it professional life because this is now becoming a little bit of a career for you, which we're going to touch on in a second, but do you ever find yourself, which I already know the answer, I think, but do you ever find yourself reflecting on Mark Loves Horror or any other projects that you've worked on and thought, okay, for this one, I'm going to have to dial it back for whatever reason?
Mhm.
A new content creator that you're kind of maybe collabing with or whatever. Do you ever feel like, okay, I've looked up this person and they're a little different from me. I'm a little nervous. Do you kind of subdue yourself? Or are you still 100% balls to the wall?
There's been times where I do have to end up saying like, "Hey, like, I can't do it."
Okay.
Um, and that's one thing about me is I'm the type of content creator that I will not change my views or who I am as a person just to get
Alike.
a like or free merch. I'm straightforward. I am super honest. And if I don't like the movie, I don't like it.
Right.
If you ask I've had directors ask me, "Can you review my film?" I'll review it. If I don't like it, I'm going to be honest.
Damn.
Like I'm not going to change who I am. There was one content creator where, and I don't mean to get
Yeah,
political,
yeah,
but he was very Trump,
yeah.
and some of the things he was saying online, I was like, no,
You couldn't
like
fuck with it.
I'm not gonna put my name on
Yeah.
that, especially for who I am as a person. And unfortunately, I just said, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Um,
And what was the response?
He was like, no, I mean, I respect it.
Wow. That's
And
because I feel like it's not socially accepted these days to be like, hey, I'm sorry, but you and I, we ain't meshing.
yeah.
I can't work with you, right? It's more like taboo to say that because if you do, then you're blacklisted or someone gets upset and then, you know what I mean? So that's cool that he
And
didn't.
at the end of the day, if I'm blacklisted for being who I am and sticking to what I believe in, originally, Mark Lipsworth started as a hobby.
Yeah.
This will always be my true love, my first love, a hobby. I'm not doing it to become, to go to all the premieres that I get to
Good for you.
do. At the end of the day, it's for what I love, and it takes my mind off of real life, and I don't care.
Okay, so that's a little bit about Mark. That segment is over, but I really wanted to. I feel like that's why I started getting real because I was like, there's so many people with platforms. There's so many people with hobbies or platforms to say the least that are so, I guess, pigeon-held into this like bubble, and they aren't able to really express who they are. I mean, you see it all the time, and from the highest celebrity, Britney Spears herself, all the way down to people like us who are these micro, I would say, influencers. Okay, so what is as we bleed into the next topic, what would you say is something that would be? I guess the question is there anything that would be surprising to people that maybe is real life about you that that would be surprising coming from someone who talks about horror a lot? Is there something in Mark's life? Is there something that Mark has gone through that maybe that has affected you that people would be like, oh my gosh, like I never would expected someone that always talks about horror to have this in their past or to have this that has affected them? Is there something that has stuck with you? And I'll give you an example. My example for me is my coming out story is mostly like bullying, right? I was bullied, and it doesn't stick with me in the sense of, oh my God, every day I cry about it. But it's a story that I tell. Like I would go to the movie theater by myself all the time, and I would lie to my parents and say, hey, mom and dad, can you drop me off at the dollar theater? All my friends are going. They believed me. They would drop me off, and they'd be like, where's everyone at? I'm like, they're inside. I literally would go to the movies by myself all the time. That has stuck with me because I love to be by myself now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no one would expect that because look at me now. And I don't say that meaning like, look at me now, look what I do. It's just that when you see me on camera, when you see me doing real estate, when you see me on this podcast or whatever the case, TikTok, people would never guess that that person existed. What would you say is the similar thing for you?
I think a lot of people, and so I'm gonna talk about my mom.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, wow, you're like so close with your mom, like, and people see our relationship and they're like, well, why are you so close with your mom? Why is your mom one of your best friends? So, and we've shared this story one other time, but when I first came out, my mom rejected me.
Okay.
And when I told her when I came out, she kicked me out of the house, and I left. And not being dramatic to where I like left for like days.
Right.
It was like maybe like one day. But that was like the first time where I was like, oh my God, like I think I just lost my mom.
Yeah.
Like, and of course, well, doesn't she have already a gay kid? She does.
Literally my thought.
She does. So my mom's reaction to having two gay sons was something she wasn't mentally prepared for because she's always known my brother was gay. And hers was, great, now I'm not going to be able to have grandkids. Great. Like you took that away from me.
Yeah.
I was her last hope of having the typical normal,
Right. For back then, yeah.
Yes. And as the years went by, my mom was like more accepting. She accepted me and she was like, you know what? To this day, she's like, I'm so sorry that I reacted like that. I'm so sorry I treated you like that because at the end of the day, that's not fair to you, to who you are.
Yeah.
And so I think why I'm so close with my mom and I have that relationship and why I'm always like my mom, I always put my mom first, is because I knew what it's like to almost be rejected and what that felt like. And I see what other people go through when they don't have their parents. And it's kind of like I just, it's stuck with me for
you,
years.
which is why you like Leatherface.
Yes.
Wow.
family.
That's crazy.
Because we're all
That's the full circle moment, though. Like,
hmm
that's kind of, I was hoping that we could bring it back because that makes sense now. Like, I've always known that your family is close, but
yes.
now it makes more sense. And I'm not saying that you're only close because of you, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you may be one of the catalysts as to why your family is so tight knit.
Yeah.
Outside of your dad and your mom, of course, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that's why me and my mom have that like special relationship, is because I feel like we've been through so much. Even with my marriage.
Yeah.
I'm in an age gap relationship. And again, my mom rejected it at the beginning. She just did not want anything to do with me and my husband and us being together. I broke up with my husband at one point because my mom didn't want me with him.
Wow.
Then, of course, my mom learned and educated herself, and she understood that, me and my son are best friends. We have a big age gap, and there's nothing inappropriate about that.
Yeah.
If they're in love and they care about each other, why am
Right.
I doing
Yeah.
this? And again, she understood that we wanted to be a family. She welcomed him into our family. We're one big family. Now they're close as ever, and
Wow.
it always just falls back to family.
That's crazy to me because the next question I was going to go into was what what has been a real life horror movie in your life? And it sounds like outside of the haha he he's of like
hmm
thrashers, obviously we know that has not happened in your life, but the scary moments in your life have been when you've almost lost who you were
hmm
because you weren't staying true to yourself, right? With
Yes.
your now husband, or lost your family as a horror movie, right? That's a common theme in some movies
Yes.
because they weren't accepting of you, which is so insane that anyway, I love how when
Yeah.
that happens. So okay, we'll line it up a little bit. So I really want to talk about we've kind of talked about what your favorite horror movie
hmm
is, but if you could invite, we're gonna get a little fun here. If you could invite 3 horror characters, it doesn't have to be the main character.
Okay.
If you could invite 3 horror characters to dinner, who would it be?
So definitely Sasha from Urban Legends.
Okay.
And that's just because she's like super sex positive, and she's like an icon. She carries like a Kama Sutra book around in the library.
Okay.
I love her. Tara Reid plays her. The second would be the Scream 2 Ghostface Mickey,
Okay. Yeah, I know which
just
one.
because
Yeah.
I love him so
Like you have a
much.
crush on
I
him.
do,
Okay, got
yes.
it.
And the fact that he's the killer is just even more iconic. And third would probably be hmm.
I'm so surprised. I'm gonna say mine, but you're gonna be mine are so basic, but I'll let you finish.
I'm probably going I think the third would probably be Jessica Biel's character, Aaron from Texas Chainsaw 03.
Okay. Wow. So mine are like so basic. It's because I don't know that many horror films as well as you do. So Sydney Prescott
Oh,
absolutely is coming to dinner with me. Okay.
yes.
Sydney Prescott, and I'm probably gonna choose.
Especially because she's been through hell.
She
Sydney has
really
been through
has been
hell.
through hell and back, and she's coming back, right, for the new film.
Yes.
Okay, so Sydney for sure. I think I would choose the wife or the from The Conjuring. The what's her name? The lady? The
Lorraine Warren.
Lorraine Warren, only because I need her to like come and check my house, like give me
Icon.
all those things, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And then probably third, honestly, this is so outlandish, but I'm gonna say it. Probably like Chucky or his bride, because I
Okay.
just think they're ridiculous. Like
Chucky.
when I think they're funny. Okay, but where are you taking them to eat? Where y'all going to eat? In San Antonio.
Probably Lupe Tortilla.
Hello.
The margaritas. I want to get like drunk and just kiki,
Right. Okay.
And then we can and then I'll go home with Mickey from Scream 2. Like, obviously.
I'm choosing Eric's Tacos because I'm a hood rat and I just want to be on a taco
Okay.
truck out on the street.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about the community in San Antonio. So, if you were living under a rock, we are filming this in San Antonio, Texas. And San Antonio, I wouldn't say is a hub of horror, but we were kind of talking off camera, and there are a lot of horror things that happen. So kind of talk us through, do you go to them often? How often do they happen? Would you recommend one over the other?
Yeah, so we recently just had like a big TerraCon, kind of like a Comic-Con here in San Antonio, and it was like the first ever where it was strictly like horror related. It was the first year, so I'm gonna give it its grace and props. I'm just thankful that we even have a horror con
Yeah.
that's that big. But there are little small cons that are themed monthly,
Okay.
and they're held at Wonderland Mall.
Okay.
And they're really cute. They have special guests. They have vendors, small businesses, and I like going to those just
Okay.
because we're able to support people who actually love horror, and you can tell through their art, through their
Yeah.
work. And that they're just so like genuine.
Yeah.
I love that. There are other horror like events, but
Okay.
a lot of the ones that I go to are like the small ones.
Okay.
And that's just because I feel like those are where the more like genuine diehard fans are.
Okay. Okay. Have you traveled for Mark Loves Horror? I know the answer to this, but I kind of want you to kind of go in a little bit deeper on like
Yeah.
where you've gone and what you've done.
So I just I just got like one of like the biggest best experiences ever. I went to New York and I got invited to the Clown in a Cornfield New York premiere,
Which is so badass.
where I met the cast and I met the author of the book, which the movie's portrayed from the book.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best experiences of my life. Like honestly, if I never get invited to a premiere again, I'm okay with it because it was just one of those experiences that I will always have in my heart, especially because my husband was there.
Right. Right. Right.
We got to
You guys
experience it together.
Yeah.
The author was so sweet. We had a conversation about horror. It was just amazing.
Is that when you knew like, okay, this is a thing? Like
Yeah.
Mark Loves Horror is kind of taking off now.
Yeah, it was definitely like I said, I don't do Mark Loves Horror because I'm looking for a big
Break.
break.
Yeah.
Again, I've just started it because it's a passion. And so to be able to say, hey, you know, if you're coming to New York, come to our premiere. Hell yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And it just really was like, wow, like I cannot believe this is my life right now. Like on the subway to this venue where they were having it, it was kind of like I cannot believe like this is my life.
And
Like,
what was it like? Like, so were there other content creators there? How did it work?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so there
Okay.
was a bunch of other content creators there.
Did you recognize any of them?
I did. I
And
did.
were there some ones that you actually follow? Like,
Yes.
you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm here with
And
them.
I even interacted with some of them.
Wow.
And what's crazy too is the author. He was just so sweet, so genuine, and so welcoming.
Yeah.
And I it's just one of those things where I'll never forget it. And I just remember afterwards, me and my husband, we went to a bar to kind of like celebrate.
Yeah.
I got so drunk and I was like, oh my God, like I cannot believe this just happened. Like I cried because I'm just like I can't believe I did it.
Like, it sounds so Hallmarky, right? But it's like your dreams are coming true, regardless if you're trying to get your big break. And I think, again, circling it back to the point of this podcast is to show people, like, regardless if it's horror, regardless if it's starting a podcast, regardless if it's horseback riding, like, I don't care what it is, you can do it and things can happen. But I am a huge believer in like, yeah, you can be the best at what you do, but timing is everything.
Exactly.
And like that means you have to be persistent and you have to be consistent for the timing to at some point work in your favor. Like you can't do it once or twice and think that that's your big break, right?
And I will be honest, there are those days where like this week exactly, like is so crazy with my real life work outside of it to where this week I haven't really posted because I need to take a step back
Right.
and remember that this isn't a job, it's my passion, and I don't want to lose that passion.
Okay. Well, and would you say, and I guess, do you see yourself ever evolving Mark Loves Horror into anything else? Or do you think right now at or is this as big as you want it to get, meaning the capacity? Are you good with that? Or do you foresee yourself maybe having a podcast one day? Or do you see yourself maybe just having a YouTube channel? Do
Yeah.
you see, are there any other avenues that you kind of want to bleed into?
So I do have like group projects with other content creators where we podcast for fun, but it's nothing big. It's
Right.
just
I've seen it,
it's
yeah.
small. But personally, as Mark Loves Horror, if this is where it ends and this is like all I do for the rest of my horror content creating,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Cool.
And I've accepted it because again, it's my passion. I love it. But one of my main things is I really want to give back to like the San Antonio community, because there are a bunch of horror weirdos like me
Yeah.
out there. So any chance I can get, like the giveaway that I'm hosting, like the fact that I get to give away 2 tickets for
Yeah.
someone that maybe, might not be able to go because they can't
They can
afford
afford it.
it.
Yeah.
I love I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, if this is where it ends and this is all I get to do, I'm fine with it. But I do hope one day, I get more
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
But that's just the added bonus.
Okay. Okay. So I want to do some rapid fire questions real quick before we wrap up the episode. So, okay, I'm going to ask you a question
Okay.
and you just, the first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Shit.
Here we go.
Okay.
We're going to start easy.
Okay.
Favorite Scream movie?
Scream 2.
Scream 2. Favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie?
Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Okay. Wow. Favorite Thrasher? Is that what you call it? Thrasher? Yeah.
Thrasher?
Thrasher movie? Like
Slasher.
Slasher. There you go. Wow. See, that shows you how much I
Thrashers.
don't
No,
want.
same thing. Urban Legends.
Urban Legend. Okay. Favorite paranormal movie?
Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin.
Okay. Favorite religious horror film?
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Favorite kill scene? I got you.
Yeah. Shit. There's so many, but if I have to think right now, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 suicide van scene.
Wow. Okay. Last one. Sexiest murderer.
Mickey from Scream 2.
Okay, wow. You stayed consistent with that. Okay. So before we wrap up, the last question I like to ask everyone, and this is something again that resonates with me, is and you may get emotional and it's okay if you do. But the question I want to ask you is, if you could tell little Mark something, whether it be little Mark from high school, middle school, elementary school, what would you tell him regarding your life up to this point? Well, if you could look at him in the eye and say something to him, what would you say? And you can look at the camera and talk to him. You don't have to look at me.
It's been a journey, obviously, you're definitely going to have, ups and downs and a lot of challenges. You're going to go through some experiences where you thought you could never like get through them, but somehow you did. But just keep working hard, I don't want to say like I've had a hard life, but
it's been rough.
Yeah. So, and just be thankful that you have family that's still there to support you, and you're going to find someone that loves you for who you are, and be thankful. It took that long to find someone.
Hey, you found it, right?
Yeah.
And that is the point of getting real. I am so thankful you came. And I hope that on this episode, for those of you that are watching on YouTube or Facebook or, listening on wherever you stream your podcast, that this, although it was super fun, there's a lot of ins and outs that I want people to kind of take away with, regardless if you're a fan of horror films or you watched, last episode and it was a content creator from LA. I think that you can get real with any one of us on any level. And I'm so happy you came.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you were one of the first to stop by. And now we'll have to bring probably at some point your brother. I don't know if he'll even come or what we'll talk about, but we may have to bring him on to hear his side.
Yes.
So until the next time, you guys, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you soon.